Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We have people from the waiting room joining our webinar. Fantastic. I really appreciate you here. You're going to see I have a bunch of props behind me. And it is such an honor to be streaming to you live, people that are interested in how to hack the brain. We are people who know something happened, know it's not our fault, and I guess we're just people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. We're people who, like, all right, I know I didn't break this. And I know that no one else can really help me but me. I don't know about you, but I spent hours and tons of money in therapy, vented for 45 minutes, and got no solution. I went to 12-step recovery and looked around the room week after week, month after month, and thought, when do we get better? When do I not have to come here anymore? Like I feel hurt and I feel like I'm not alone, but damn it, I want to end this. I want to get better. So when I finally found an intuitive therapist who he didn't say a lot, but what he said mattered. And he basically said to me that you're codependent. And I was like, what? I don't drink. My understanding of codependency almost 30 years ago was that codependents were co-alcoholics. They were in love with people who had addictions, and they were trying to take care of them, and they lost their identity doing that. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. Codependency has a plethora of symptoms, and it's also a sliding scale. And that is why it is not in the DSM, because it's not easy to pin down. It manifests as so many different symptoms. But once you understand what causes codependency and you understand what motivates the inner child, what motivates the wounded ego, what motivates the survival brain, and you understand how childhood has corrupted you at the subconscious level and has caused you to live out a certain paradigm, a certain set of beliefs, and how these beliefs limit your perception. So there's the big ass world. There it is. There's beautiful hawk, and there's an eagle, and there's the top of a beautiful, majestic tree, and there's the gorgeous sky, but you don't see it. You don't see it because your perceptual field is like this. Your inner eye is like, what is she thinking? How is he feeling? What did I say? Why is he angry? How can I get them to like me? What if they don't like me? Big ass world out there. Unlimited infinite potential. But we can't see it. Those of us who are codependent or those of us who have unhealed inner child trauma, we can't see it because our brain has been freaking hijacked. And we're going to talk about that. But the Neuro Manifestation 8-week masterclass, which starts live September 28th, it's level 2 of the Conscious Healing Academy, meaning that most people who take the 8-week masterclass have taken the 12-week breakthrough method, meaning that these are people that have stuck with me for 90 days at a minimum, and they know that they're not the programming. They're understanding a little bit more about emotional regulation, a little bit more about, wait, that's a pattern. Oh, wow, I almost reacted to feeling rejected and I mastered it and I didn't take my crap out on my kid or my husband or my wife. I did it. I mastered my inner reality and the outcome was brilliant, right? So they're learning about emotional regulation. They're learning about metacognition and they're beginning to understand, oh, I have some control over this. I received a beautiful email from a member of the current class that has said that she's been in psychoanalysis, I think she said for 20 years. And she has never had the success of looking within and understanding what the frick was wrong, why she was stuck, why what she didn't want kept showing. She had trouble with transference with relationships with therapists, and she found some therapists are absolutely amazing. I'm not knocking them. This is her experience, where she found such difficulty, like finding a therapist that wasn't wounded, that um was having she had trouble finding a therapist whose ego wasn't getting involved. And after 45 minutes, it's like, okay, you vented, you got to go. And in the 12-week breakthrough method, you get a method of looking within and healing the inner child's wounds and emotional regulation and activating metacognition and neuroplasticity, which, by the way, I believe in 100 years from now, this will be the way it is. It's going to be the way it is because it's the only thing that makes sense. Neuroscience is the only thing that makes sense. I remember the early days, I remember asking myself, if I never give up, like if I work on my subconscious mind today, and the thought came to me where it was like, if I never give up, like in 15 years, where would I be? And that was like super exciting. And I was just, well, it seems like a long time. Now it's actually like 20 something, 25 years later. But I said to myself, in 15 years, where could I be if I never gave up? And I would have never imagined that I'd be with you right here, right now, that I would be teaching about neuromanifestation. And I really do believe, and I hope I am alive to see it happen. But I believe this is groundbreaking. I believe that we are moving towards, when it comes to mental health, be patient as you learn to let go. So what happens to us as children is that our senses and poor Ed the head are stuck. It looks terrible. But this toothpick represents um the sense of sight, right? So children are downloaded through the sense of sight. They're downloaded through the sense of smell. They're downloaded through what they taste, right? All of this is data going into the mind. They are he's got a toothpick in his ear too. They are downloaded and affected by what they hear in their outer environment, right? So also what they feel. So the reason I became really interested in creating the masterclass was because I was really frustrated with what I was seeing happen with The Secret and many of the law of attraction gurus. I was just like, I feel like this is an insult to my intelligence. And, the audacity of anyone, and I love me, the gurus, I really do. But I just feel like it's you we're doing it a disservice because it's science. And because someone can't explain it doesn't mean that it should be oversimplified. Now, let's talk about the conscious versus the subconscious mind. Super important. The human mind operates on two levels, the conscious and the subconscious. Most people don't know that. The conscious, oh yeah, it's in my subconscious. Do you know what the hell you're talking about right now? You are 95% unconscious. Think about that. Observe your thoughts and imagine, like, where'd that come from? Your subconscious? Your subconscious? What does that mean? That means you're not really thinking. You're recycling. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my, and we want to know why we can't get along with our siblings, or why we can't get along with our neighbors, and why we can't get along with other countries. The conscious mind represents roughly 5% of mental activity. It sets goals, makes plans, and imagines change. The subconscious mind, however, makes up 95% of mental processes. It stores emotional memories, habits, and belief systems formed early in life. For trauma survivors, subconscious programs are often written during childhood in environments where they were powerless and dependent upon others for safety. The subconscious records survival strategies like people pleasing, dissociation, and hypervigilance, and replays them automatically into adulthood. Even when the conscious mind desires love, abundance, or peace, the subconscious continues broadcasting fear, scarcity, and distrust. This explains why willpower alone is absolutely ineffective. It's like sending 5 soldiers, the conscious mind, into battle against 95 soldiers, the subconscious mind. Without reprogramming, the subconscious is always going to win. You're not broken, you're stuck. So many of you know that I've gone no contact with my siblings, and back in October, I don't know, maybe I was just ready to let go, but ready to give up the piece, the codependent sibling role, the hero role. Like, I'm going to carry the burden of my family. I'm the one that's supposed to keep us all together. I'm supposed to fix us, right? I felt like that since I'm like 3 years old. So I don't know why, but this back in 2024, it just hit me that the things that were being said to me were the survival patterns of one of my siblings. They hadn't broken through. And no matter how much work I did on myself, that person still saw me that particular way based on his survival pattern, his narrow lens. And it just hit me like, you can't fix this. And now he's coming after you. Now he's attacking you. Now it's filtering down to the kids. Now it's time to let go. That was huge for me. So it really was understanding that he's in his survival brain. And when people are in their survival brain, they can only see you based on the data that's tied to their survival brain. And in most cases, they're a victim and you're a predator. That's it. You could be the nicest little old lady in the world. Says the novena and the rosary for everybody, right? Doesn't you make spaghetti and meatballs for everybody? Community center. When you're talking to someone who's got a survival brain and there is distrust there, no matter who you are, they're going to see you that way. And at one point in time, it may become necessary for you to say adios. Not easy, but necessary for your own emotional growth and mental health. So you're not broken, you're unconscious. Most of what people experience is as thinking is a subconscious replaying old patterns, and it's not creative. You assume your thoughts are true. Survival wiring convinces you that inner narratives of fear or worthiness are facts rather than recycled memories. This was huge for me. When you're in survival, you're not creating, you are digging up old dead bodies. That's what you're doing. Old dead scenarios, old dead experiences, recycling them, recycling. It's an illusion that you're not doing that. But you know how you know you're doing that? Because you attract one narcissist after the next. Is that not the one narcissist from the past just keep being recycled? So think about it as, wow, I just dug up another dead body. I just dug up that's dead. That happened in the past. Why does it keep happening? Because you're not creating consciously a new reality. You just staying in the old reality. It's an illusion to think that you're not doing that. So here's a journaling prompt because all of my coaching courses include neuroscience backed journaling prompts. So the journaling prompt to activate higher consciousness. You ready? Let's write it down. If most of my thoughts are recycled from the past, what are 3 loops I hear most often? And how do they keep me tied to survival instead of creation? If most of my thoughts are recycled from the past, what are 3 loops I hear most often? And how do they keep me tied to survival instead of creation? Number 2. If I could step beyond my survival brain just for a moment, what new possibilities would my higher mind imagine for my life? So imagine that you escaped the limbic brain, you escaped Amy the amygdala and Harry hippocampus's apartment. You're out. All right, now I'm going to answer some of your questions. So, hi, Lisa. I was in a covert narcissistic marriage for 33 years, and my adult children were turned against me. I haven't spoken to them in almost 4 years. My daughter won't return my phone calls. However, she travels with my narcissistic sister, who I haven't spoken to in almost 4 years either. Would your program help with healing from this kind of long-term trauma? I would say, well, you also have some sister stuff. And you were married to a covert narcissist, which tells me that there's a reason that this happens. If your sister's narcissistic and your husband's narcissistic, chances are you're codependent or you lack boundaries. So I would say for you, if you've done no recovery work or up until now, the recovery work that you've done really hasn't stuck, then I would start with the 12-week class on demand, which is 50% off the live class. So you can start that today. Go to my website, www.lisaramon.com. Go to the top healing courses, and you would start with the 12-week class. The masterclass really is for people who have an understanding of like what's wrong, like they're codependent and they understand that they're not their programs and they want next level transformation. Hi, I'm a grad of the 12-week program. The course is truly life changing. In one of your discussions, you spoke about how thoughts are things. Does that mean consciousness is a thing as well, or is consciousness beyond all of that? So, in terms of if you think about a thing, I would say that a thing represents matter. When I'm so yeah, because words are important, and we have to make sure that when we speak words, we're speaking, they all have the same meaning, right? So thoughts become things. So consciousness is the observer of the thought that manifests into a thing. And consciousness is on a scale. So in the third class, soul school, of course, the quantum science of love consciousness, what we do in that class is we elevate your consciousness beyond the ego, beyond the limits of ego, to the point where you're understanding yourself as a facet of infinite intelligence and consciousness in its purest form, before the desire for wanting anything and beyond the fear of pain, which is beautiful. So consciousness is observing the thought. I hope that that makes sense. What is the best book to purchase to get a jump start on metacognition? This is a really good question. I would still start with The Road Back to Me, because The Road Back to Me will activate your awareness of your inner child's experience. So you will learn to observe through my story your inner child. It will activate your feelings, and you will begin to start to see your inner child as this entity within you that is observable. And because it's observable, you can flow love and compassion towards it, which begins the process of separation that is so necessary within the mind when we're trying to heal the self. Let's see. Yes, Soul School is available on demand, so we can continue after the masterclass. Yes. If anybody needs any of these links, just write me an email at coach@lisaaromano.com. But these links are available on my website. Every day I decide that I will be in control of my nervous system. My nervous system will not control me. Every single day I decide that I will be emotionally regulated today. I will find the middle way. Every single day, I will decide whether or not I can control that or whether or not I can control that. And I will decide which path I want to choose consciously. Every day I decide to live in love consciousness. Every day I decide to love myself. Every day I decide to choose. And this is within me. And I believe that that's why I've survived over the years offering these incredible coaching programs where people pop up and they're gone. Like they're just gone, right? Because this is my passion. And this is my mission to awaken people. And mark my word, this is where we're going when it comes to mental health. We are going to start, rather than just medicating the brain, which sometimes we need it, we're going to teach people about their brains. We have to learn how to drive a damn car, and we have to read instructions on how to use a damn sewing machine. But no one teaches us how to use the brain. It's an operating system. It has apps in it. The brain has apps like your phone. Don't you think you should know how to use them? And don't you think the people that know the most about their brain and how to operate it, don't you think that they're the most successful people out there? And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about joy. And I'm talking about contentment. And I'm talking about emotional regulation. You can't jack someone up who understands how their brain works. And if you want that, I'm your coach. We launched September 28th. And if you want to take the journey again and you've taken the masterclass again, just send me an email, coach@lisaaromano.com, and we will hook you up. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now. Hey, if you love this content, don't forget to check out the next video, and you can go to my website and take the codependency quiz.